Hello again, my fellow patriots. Today's video, we're going to be discussing a couple of things. The first thing is the old Gretchen Whitmer plot that 13 people, they were going to kidnap her. And who knows what else by saying, she was a tyrannical governor. And realistically, I don't agree with them doing all of that, but yes, she is a tyrannical governor. She, the Supreme Court and everything come out and said that she was abusing her power, that she didn't have the power to give herself all the powers that she claimed she had, and they took them away. She said they're still mine for 21 days, and after these 21 days, I will just find some other way to make everything go my way. That is tyranny at its finest. Now, I'm not saying that these guys were right for wanting to do this, but a couple of hundred years ago, they would have been 100% justified for doing it. That's what our Second Amendment is for. Not only protecting our states from terrorists, both foreign, but also domestic, and for standing up against tyranny. Like the old saying goes, the freedom tree needs to be refreshed time to time from the blood of the patriots and the tyrants. Anyway, let's get into this story, and then we'll get into the other thing I want to talk about. Suspects in the Whitmer plot photographed with long guns at Michigan Capitol. Wow, I'm surprised they didn't say assault rifles. We literally dodged death this time, but what about next time, a state senator said. Well, you know what? Actually run your government like it's supposed to be. Quit acting like a king and queen and reigning over your lowly subjects, and treat them like, American citizens, and maybe people wouldn't feel like that you're a daggone tyrant that needs to be taken down. And especially after her little comments, yeah, like I said, that's tyranny at its finest. Two brothers were charged Thursday in a plot to kidnap and kill Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, were identified as the identical twins photographed months earlier carrying long guns during a protest inside the state capitol. The two men, William and Michael Knoll, both 38, were photographed on April 30th standing in a gallery above the Senate during a massive protest against Whitmer's stay-at-home orders intended to stop the spread of the coronavirus. I don't think it really worked. Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel's office confirmed the men's identity from a photo previously posted by State Senator Dana Polanki on the day of the protest. The FBI arrested 13 people Thursday in the plot by members of associates of a right-wing militia group, Wolverine Watchmen. Never even heard of them. To identify the homes of law enforcement officers in order to target them and plan and train for an attack on the state capitol where they would kidnap government officials, including Whitmer. Prosecutors also alleged those indicted made credible threats of violence to instigate a civil war leading to societal collapse. All it takes is one person with a silver tongue. Early 1940s in Germany proved that. 6 individuals are facing federal charges specifically related to conspiring to kidnap the governor. The Knoll brothers are among 7 other people facing state-related terrorism charges connected to the militia plot. In early 2020, the FBI learned through social media that a group was discussing a violent overthrow of certain government and law enforcement components, according to the criminal complaint obtained by Fox News. Gotta love social media and the people who aren't smart enough to know not to use it for those purposes. Throughout the coronavirus pandemic, armed militants dressed in tactical gear stood outside and inside public buildings, raising concerns from some lawmakers who felt threatened. But yet they don't feel threatened by the constant riots and looting and arson and assaults and murder being committed by Antifa and BLM, and yeah, those are okay. It's just when it's right-wing militia groups that, no, can't have that. But left-wing stuff, BLM, Antifa, that's okay. Well, according to Joe Biden, Antifa is just it's just an ideology anyway. It's not an actual group, even though they have flags and they have specific groups and stuff like that on the internet that they go to, and they plan and plot stuff, and yeah, it sounds a little bit more like an idea to me. But during one incident, armed demonstrators tried to get on the Capitol floor before being stopped by security. Polanyi, who took the protest photo nearly 6 months ago, spoke on the Senate floor after the FBI made sweeping arrests Thursday, reigniting a debate to ban guns at the state capitol. "I'm scared and I'm mad, and I refuse to take it any longer," Polanyi said. Well, you know what? That's the way the American people feel too. Welcome to the club. When the world was shown the reality of our workplace in the Michigan Capitol, they were appalled. Men armed to the teeth stormed our chambers to intimidate us, and today we found out those threats were real. There was a plan in place to not only scare us, but kidnap and kill us. "We literally dodged death," she said. "This time, but what about the next time? Because there will be a next time." Stop being tyrants. That's the plain and simple. If you try to rule over your people instead of properly lead them, you're going to have a rebellion. These people got caught. Like I said, these were the idiots who used social media for things. There are a lot more people out there who don't use social media for such things. Better armed people, better trained people. I mean, why don't you go after the daggone NFAC? They're a bunch of armed people walking through the daggone streets, pointing their damn guns at each other, having accidental discharges. But no, that's okay. It's only whenever, the people are white and considered Republican, that's when it's a no-no. But if you're, Democrat and black, it's okay. Express your rights. You have the right to. But the bottom line of this, people, do not be a tyrant. Do not sit there and say, yeah, the Supreme Court ruled I overstepped my bounds, but you know what? Screw them. I'm going to do it anyway. Yeah, that's a tyrant. Yeah, that's an abuse of power. You should be immediately, recalled and taken down for abuse of power. There's no contest there. There's no rebuttal for that. It is fact. She needs to be taken out of power and never, ever allowed to gain any more power ever again. Make an example out of her. Not, in that way. Start a petition to recall her. Get her recalled. Take this stuff to court. Do it properly. This is 2020, not 1820. You can't just run up and get the tyrants and hang them high like it used to be. No, now we have processes. You have to go through courts and this, that, and the other thing. But, yeah, she needs to be taken out of power immediately and made an example of. So that way all others, maybe they'll go, oh, crap. If we do this, then we're going to be recalled too, and then we'll lose all our power and possibly face jail time. You know, knock them down a few notches. Bring them back to reality instead of that little ivory tower that they live in, or they think that they live in. But that also kind of leads me into the next thing I wanted to talk about. Prepare yourself, America. Because like I said, these dudes got caught. Mainly due to social media. There are many more people out there who don't use social media, who are much more organized and better equipped than these men. It's less than a month to the election. I can pretty much guarantee you, on election day, November 3rd, there will be riots. Even though you will not hear the results of the election until, God, the mail-in bullcrap, who knows, until December probably sometime. But there will still be riots. Why? Because some reason, I don't know. Maybe somebody stubbed their toe on a curb. Oh, we got to write about that. I don't know. Maybe somebody didn't have milk for the cereal this morning. Oh, got to write about that. They'll find any and every excuse. But you need to prepare yourself. You know, get everything you can to defend yourself. Don't go out looking for a fight. But more than likely, especially depending on where you live, the fight may come to you. And just because you put up signs that says I support Black Lives or BLM or whatever else, that doesn't matter. You know, they have it's been proven that they have burned down and looted black-owned businesses. So they've already proved that black lives don't matter. They're just out to destroy. Do what you can to prepare. Get extra food just in case. Get extra medicine if possible just in case. Because the fight may come to you. And these people don't care who you are or what color you are. If they want to destroy, they will destroy. They will make you bow down before them, kiss their feet, and then still burn down your house afterwards. Why? Because they say you're a white supremacist or you're this, that, or the other thing. They'll make up some excuse. I mean, all it would take is for, say, me to go to one of these Antifa, BLM protests and walk up to this random person and go, oh, he said white power, or he said blue lives matter, or something like that. Even though he didn't. But all it would take is for me to point at him and scream that, and then the entire mob would descend down and, that's all it takes, is they're looking for any and every excuse, even if it's fake. They try to justify anything that they do by saying, oh, we're in the right for doing it. Down with fascism, blah, 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 blah. No, that's not the way it works. They scream about a revolution and you can't stop the revolution. They don't know what a revolution is. True revolution, they would run back screaming to their mommy and daddy. If a real revolution happened. Once real armed people showed up and they knew things were getting real and the LARPing was over, they would run. They would run and they would hide. You would never see them again. But when they're in mob form, and they think that they got people around them to protect them, oh, they're the biggest, baddest things on the daggone face of the earth. It's like gang mentality, mob mentality. One-on-one, face-to-face with somebody else? Nope. They wouldn't dare call you out on it. But when there's 100 of them versus one of you, oh yeah, they're in your face screaming to the top of their lungs at you and everything else. both sides, the right and the left, have already said that there's going to be violence on election day, or when the results of the election are announced. But dang it. But you need to prepare. You know, gun ownership is at an all-time high. And a lot of it, I think it was a little over 40% now, I believe, are first-time gun owners. And many of those are Democrats. You know, hey, welcome to the party. But now more than ever, I think people realize how important our Second Amendment is. Because, you know, cops can't be at your house in the blink of an eye. You have to be able to defend yourself and your family. You can't let these terrorists overrun you, because then they will still do whatever they want to you no matter what, because in their screwed up minds, they are justified in doing whatever they want to do. These people are mentally ill. They seriously need to be put away somewhere for the good of all the rest of us in the world. These people are sick. They are willing to go out and burn your house down with you in it. They don't care. They don't care if they destroy you, they destroy your home, your business, your livelihood. They don't care. Why? Because it doesn't affect them. And they all want to defund the police. Well, guess what? When things get bad on their end, what do they scream? Oh, call the police. Call the police. Someone, call an ambulance. Call this, call that. Why? You want to abolish them. I'm not even going to say defund. You want to abolish the police. These people are too dumb to realize that they're marching out there wanting to abolish the police, but yet when things get bad in their lives, they scream to call the police. Well, if you get your wish and the police are abolished, you can't scream call the police anymore. You're on your own. But these people do not understand that. You need to prepare, America. Because what's going on now, it's just the tip of the iceberg. And even if the states call in, you know, the National Guards and everything else, that's still not going to be enough. Even if they call in the military, the Army. You know, my brother-in-law is in the Army, and my sister-in-law is in the Air Force. She's deployed somewhere where she can't tell us where she is. She just told us she'll talk to us when she can. But she's no longer in the U.S. My guess is, with all the tensions and everything, she's probably gone over somewhere near China. But as for the Army and stuff, even if they called them in, they're not really going to do much. Because you got to think, these people are still Americans and are kind of likely, maybe, to be, you know, these people's brothers or sisters. So I don't think the Army is really going to do anything. You know, they're not really going to fight their own people. So what it might end up coming down to is, you know, Antifa and NFAC, things like them, up against, you know, regular militias. And if that's the case, then the cities will literally be war zones, because this is where it's going to be fought. I mean, you know, these a lot of the militias are made up of, you know, good old boys. You know, these Antifa and everything else, they're made up of nothing but old city folk. So, you know, they won't stand a chance out in the rural parts of the U.S., but in the cities is where it's going to be fought at. And people, you either need to get out of the city while you still can, and leave your city bullcrap behind with you. You know, you can come out to the rural parts of the U.S., but leave that bullcrap liberal stuff behind, because that's what started a lot of this crap. Antifa, yeah, BLM, all this stuff, they're liberals. Extreme far left wing. So you need to leave that crap behind. But the cities will become war zones, and if you don't want to get caught in the crossfire, then you either need to leave, or you need to take a very long extended vacation. Because I don't think you want your family getting caught in the middle of this. I don't think it'll last too awful long, because, you know, irregardless of what, you know, like I watched Tim Pool's video the other day, and he said, oh, the left is very organized, the right's not. He has no idea. Trust me, I've looked into both of them. The right is far, far more organized than the left will ever be. He thinks because the left pretty much owns the communications, that's why they're more organized. Okay, but the left doesn't own all communications. There are still parts of the internet where people on the right can go and talk amongst each other. Hell, you can even go to the deep web, I'm sure, if you know where to go. And then nobody knows, you know, if you're hidden behind a VPN and, you know, use like Tor or something like that, then, yeah, they ain't going to find you. They ain't going to know. And there's also ham radio and stuff, you know, those kind of communications. The left doesn't control those. Those are, you know, person to person, peer to peer, I guess you could say. And things can be transferred on, and there's nothing the left can do to shut those down, short of realistically detonate an EMP, which would destroy all electronic equipment within the radius, including their own. But the right is far more organized than the left is. The right, these legitimate, you know, real militias, they can be organized like that. The left, they can be, but they're not organized. It's everybody running out, oh, what's going on, what's going on, what's going on? Meanwhile, you know, the right will have, you know, okay, you go here, you go there, you set up there, let us know what the hell's going on, you know. They're set up like military. But I don't think it would last too awful long. The left would get destroyed. I mean, there would be losses on both sides, yes, but the left doesn't have the proper training, the proper equipment, you know, to go up against the militia. You know, the NFAC thinks that they're this big bad militia. They're not. I mean, everything I've watched on them, they're not organized. They're just a bunch of people. I think half of them walks around with BB guns. Seriously. They just look like AR-15s and stuff. One dude didn't even have any sights on his gun at all. You can't aim it. I mean, these people are just extremely unorganized, untrained, and the dude, Grandmaster J, the leader, come out and said that they have millions of dollars in funding, and they're going to use them to train and weapons and vehicles, and it's a paramilitary group. Those are illegal, but are they going to go after them? No. Why? Well, because they don't say they support Black Lives Matter, but they coordinate with Black Lives Matter. So anything that has to do with Black Lives Matter right now, they get away with. God, what was it? Crap, I forgot where it was. I just saw the story yesterday. My memory's terrible. But they just released like 541 rioters, I believe, and they released them with no charges at all. Yeah. No charges. But yet the McCloskeys, the two elderly people who come out with guns, and when those people, all them protesters, broke down the gate and were trespassing, yeah, they got indicted and they got even more charges added onto them. They were justified in what they did. All the people who broke in there broke the law. They're criminals. The ones that they caught have had all the charges dropped. But yet the McCloskeys, who did everything within the law, are being charged. So if you break the law, you're good to go. But if you follow the law, then you're a criminal? You see how things are getting screwed up? And this is all in Democrat cities. None of this crap really happens in Republican-run places. This is all in Democratic cities. And let me tell you, if it keeps going on, stuff like this will start happening. Because the average person is getting sick and tired of having their lives ruined. They're sick and tired of living in fear. All because people like her won't stand up to the mob and put them down and abide by everything that they do. Don't charge them for any of the crimes that they commit. I'm sorry, the average person is getting sick and tired of it. This is tyranny, and when you have tyranny, this is the kind of stuff that can happen. Eventually it might be a mob of 200-300 people in a militia, and guess what? They ain't gonna be able to stop them. 13 people who aren't very coordinated, yeah, it's nothing for the FBI to get a hold of. But 200 or 300 people who communicate amongst themselves, stay out of social media and stuff, and then just descend upon somebody, at a random time someday, without them expecting it, they won't be able to stop them. Anyway, I think this video is probably going on long enough. People, prepare. Bad things are ahead. Both sides have said it. You need to prepare. Get out of the cities if you can. Get whatever you can to protect yourself and your family. Get extra food. Get extra medicine. Prepare. Because I am telling you, it is better to have all this stuff and not need it than to desperately need it and not have it. Because once that time comes and you really, really need it, you will not be able to get it. It'll be too late. Stay vigilant, America. Do your research. Don't believe everything the mainstream media tells you. Whenever I bring you a story, I look up 3 or 4 different things at once, and I try to weed through all the bull crap and see all the key points that are still the same, and then go through, look up those. And trust me, I do my research. I don't just go, okay, there, and that's it. I do my research. I try to bring you, the truth, as I said, the truth behind all the lies. But just prepare, America. Bad things are coming, and this is already the 9th. They're coming quick. It's like 25 days or so till the election. They're getting worse. You need to prepare. I'd hate to see anyone suffering, especially, someone and they have a family and the little kids are suffering. Plan ahead. I will see y'all in the next video.